All right, everybody, we are back with your guide to collecting. I made this for you. But before any of that, you guys know what day it is. It is the day of GENKIDAIMATSURI. Yeah. Super excited. For those of you that don't know, all the new Dragon Ball news, games, possibly a show, possibly a movie. 5 p.m. Pacific. I will be streaming my reaction, but before any of that, we got the guide to collecting. Basically, we're gonna go over how to get figures, what figures might interest you, and basically how to get to this kind of level here. You know, whether you want the kind of figures that you see everybody buy, which are these Master Leafs, whether you're a repaint kind of guy like me, or you want these high quality ones like Super Master Star Piece. That went completely over so many people's heads, and that's okay because that's what we're here for. Starting off, the team. These are all the brands that you kind of got to look out for, and I'm gonna make this as simple as possible, right? Starting off, the most complicated, we got Ichiban Kuji, not to be mistaken with Ichiban Sho. So Ichiban Kuji are Japanese lottery prize figures. So essentially, Bandai will announce, or Ichiban Kuji will announce, hey, we're dropping these figures on this day, this month, and we're gonna have so many of them. So people from Japan, they line up at these stores, they get a ticket, and it has a varying quantity of these prizes here, right? So typically a set will have 2 of the A prize, 2 of the B prize, 2 of the C prize, 1 D, 1 E, and only 1 last 1 prize here, which makes them very, very hard to get sometimes, right? And there's a ton of these very small, like collectible acrylic items, right? So in Japan, a lot of people will go the route of doing this lottery where it's $10 a ticket. And otherwise, you've got to go to like stores and aftermarket kind of things, which price will vary depending on just how much people want these figures, right? Where us in the US and internationally from Japan have the benefit is we've got Ichiban Sho. Basically, it's like the little brother of Ichiban Kuji, where, hey, some of these sets we are going to get, but we're just not gonna get them when Japan gets them. So Battle of the Super Saiyan is a set releasing in just a couple days, like a week from now. And Japan will have these, like this will be available very soon. Where in the US, we have these for retail, and they're gonna come out closer to March, April, maybe May. But yeah, right? Next, Tamashii Nation's SH Figuarts. These are your kind of action figures. These are the articulatable figures where you can move the joints around, you can pose them however you want. They're often smaller than figures from the Ichiban Kuji and Ichiban Sho line, but if you're someone that values posing, this is what you're going to want to go for. On the contrary, Figuart Zero, a kind of family to SH Figuarts, is a diorama style non-articulatable figure, right? So just to kind of pull up the example really quick, you can see here SH Figuarts have a lot of these joints that move around. You can pose figures however you want, whether it's battling, whether it's something like this, where it's Goku and Gohan firing family Kamehameha, right? Where Figuart Zero, these you cannot move, but they're much, much higher detail, and they're like the premium line. They're more statue-esque, right? Finally, our last 2, we've got Master Star Piece, which is exactly like it says in the logo. It's the greatest quality. They're very high quality, high price, large scale figures, where Grandista has the same size as them. They're still high quality, not as high quality, but they belong to this Crane family of figures, which we'll touch on a little bit later in this video, right? But to pull up an example of what some of these figures are, we got my shelf here, right? I blend a lot of different brands to make it work, but the first thing that stands out is in the center, I have this Super Master Star piece, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, that acts as my highlight figure. It's the figure I want people to look at just because it's very high quality. There's scratches on the gi, the shading on the skin and fur is incredible, the pose is dynamic, right? Where to the right, I've got this Grandista Goku. You can kind of tell that the hair is less quality. It's got a little bit more of a shine to it than these two Super Master Star Piece figures, but nevertheless, the size really scales well with these, and regardless, it's a very high quality figure for what it is. Meanwhile, in the corners here, I've got Masterlies. I've got an Ichi Bansho figure, right? Very high detail for a fraction of the price, but also a fraction of the scale of these guys, right? So the Super Saiyan Goku with his hand out is Ichi Bansho. This Kid Goku is Ichi Bansho. This Goku, the one with the wings, right? The two here are Super Master Star Piece, and these two are Grandista. Furthermore, we've got a couple big Ichiban Kuji and Ichiban Show figures, right? This dragon is exclusive to Japan, so it's Ichiban Kuji. Meanwhile, the giant ape, all the Super Saiyan 4s in the center here are Ichiban Show because they had a Japanese and an international release, right? Then we've got a Super Master Star Piece, Super Saiyan 4 Goku here, which is a lot bigger than the Ichiban Show one. We've got Omega Shenron, Baby, and a little crane Trunks, which again I'll touch on later. Lastly, here are some more Grandista figures. This Gohan is, the Bardoks, the UI Gokus, and the Vegeta. And you can just tell in direct comparison to the Super Master Star Piece, they're lesser quality, but regardless, they scale well and blend incredibly with them, right? So, let's move on. Now you've kind of got the idea of, okay, I'm feeling this brand. Like, I like the tall figures, I like the ones that I can articulate, right? So here's your guide. SH Figuarts, people will just say SHF, very retail accessible. You're gonna find them on Amazon, you're gonna find these everywhere, right? A lot of them are gonna average this $35, $40 range at the lowest, like we can see here. But on average, a lot of the nicer ones, they're expensive, man. They're getting to that 60, 70, 80 range, like the Bardock here, and even more. They've got really premium figures like this Broly back here that are gonna run you about 120 bucks, you know? They're smaller, so you can fit a lot more on a shelf like this, and you can get some really cool things going for you. But one thing to just keep in mind, it's the price. These are the prices, right? Meanwhile, if you're someone that's like, dude, I'm really liking diorama figures. Something about the like dynamic poses and effects speak to me a lot more than these kind of museum style poses, right? These are going to be bigger than SH Figuarts. These are about 5 to 7 inches. These are like 8, 9 inches, including the effects. And they're very high quality. These are, at their lowest, about 70 retail, like the cooler, where the average is about 100. The Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Janemba, and even at the highest, like this guy here, where they've started adding these background pieces, they're now getting up to the 140 range, but not all of them. Next up, Ichiban Show, right? So remember, this is the international release. That means where Japan has to go through this lottery system and aftermarket, we can just pre-order them. And so it depends on the set, you know. This set, the average is about 65. This is coming out later in June, July, and it's up for pre-order. Not all of them are, but I highly recommend pre-ordering because they sell out quickly. At your lowest, you're looking at $40, and that could be kind of any figure. The average, I would say, is probably around $60, and the high, when we get an Ichiban show release of last one prizes like this, it's not common, but it does happen. They typically do run you a pretty penny, about $120. On the contrary, Ichiban Kuji History of Film. I pulled this set up as an example because we never got an international release. This never came to the US, but regardless, they're incredible figures that some of us want. So I'll touch on, hey, how you can get this Broly, the family Kamehameha with Gohan, Gotenks, Turles, you know? They're still accessible, you can still get them, but the price is really just gonna vary by the market, how badly people want them. Next up, Super Master Star's piece. This has been an extinct kind of breed of figures up until late, where we're starting to get them to come back for Dragon Ball, but it's high price for high quality. At the lowest, I've seen ones like the Bardock that I showed in the very beginning of the video. This guy crouching down is about 60 retail. That's the lowest that it's gonna go, but the average is about 120 bucks here, as you can see. Where, meanwhile, Grandista kind of also got its revive, where the newer releases are 30, 40 bucks, and like, dude, they're great. What you're gonna lack from these guys is the shading, but overall, you're getting a very nice, tall, heavy figure for 30, 40 bucks, which is cheap in the figure world, but 30, 40 bucks is 30, 40 bucks, right? So, Crane figures. Crane figures are essentially exactly that. They're figures that they put in crane machines in Japan and people fish them out. So they're very cheap. The quality is a lot less. You're not getting shading. They're very small. This is like 5 inches. This is probably as big as one of these detailed SHF, right? So let's quickly kind of go through the brands of crane figures, because some of these might speak to you. You might not have the room or the money to get some of those higher end figures, right? Solid Edge Works. They're kind of like Ichiban Kuji, where they are these museum style figures, but they're just smaller and they don't have any shading. The colors are it's all brown, it's all black, there's no shading. It's just solid. Blood of Saiyans. Their trope is they have shiny hair. Woo. Clear Eyes. Their trope is the hair is clear. Very small too. History Box. Their thing is they do the dioramas. They're like really, really, really small dioramas. GX Materia. Probably the highest quality from all the crane figures. They have effects on them. Whereas Matchmakers typically release in pairs, and it's usually 2 people going at it. It's a scene. It's representing a battle. So at this point, something has caught your eye, whether it's the articulatables, the dioramas, the museum style, and it's really a matter now of what matters to you now. Is it money? Is it quality? Is it space? Is it posing? We're gonna go into that, right? So, if money is the issue, but you have the space, I would say go for Grandista figures, right? They're very tall. You're getting such a nice figure that speaks on a shelf for relatively something cheap for the figure community, right? If money's an issue, but you really just value the quality of things, you're like, man, this shelf is exactly what I want. You're like, oh my god, I absolutely love Super Boo, and like, it's tall, it's hefty, like it's worth it to me, save up. The quality is an Ichiban show. If space is your issue, but money isn't, yo, go for the Supermaster Star piece. These are like the pre-order bonuses that you used to get at GameStop, man. Like, these things are so nice, and like they speak on their own. You just put one of these on any shelf in your house, you don't have space, it's gonna make you happy, man. You know, your wife is like, dude, I'm not letting you buy figures. Like, I will let you get like 5. I'm getting all Supermaster Star piece for the most part, especially if space is the issue. But if it's space is the issue, but you really are just valuing quality, we're going Ichiban show. If you're like, all right, I'm not trying to burn money on figures, but I just want a couple pieces, go for Ichiban show. They're super nice. If posing is your thing, you're pretty much just limited to SH Figuarts, and yeah, you could see if like you're a big Bardock fan, you're the #1 Bardock fan, and like that's all you want. You just want to pose Bardock fighting Frieza, and you're like, dude, $70-80 is so much. Bootlegs is kind of this cursed term, but for the articulatable side of things, man, third parties are actually, in my opinion, kind of better. Like, this brand Demoniacal Fit is super nice, so you're not purely limited to just SHF. And we'll talk more about the third parties later. If dioramas are your thing, you got 3 options. It's mainly going to be Figuart Zeros, and they're going to run you. You've chosen dioramas, they're going to run you money. There is some old Supermaster Star piece dioramas I'll show you really briefly. Shout out Mike for the Kuji catalog. I'll put this in the description, and you guys can see all the Ichiban show, Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball figures. But the dioramas here, these have had US releases. There's a couple stores that still have these in stock, like Big Bad Toy Store still has this in stock. Bait Me has this in stock, and they're very nice. They're very good quality. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go the resin route, dude. These can be anywhere from like 30 to 50 inches. They're a lot of detail. They're third party, but they look really nice. There's a whole, like, this is the divide. You've got the Master Lease community. You've got the SH Figuart community and the resin people. And you're just gonna have to kind of pick one. That's what you are. Buying retail. So where can we buy these? Big Bad Toy Store. This is the golden standard of buying figures, whether it's SH Figuarts, resin, or some resin. And Ichiban show, my first choice is always Big Bad Toy Store. A lot of people believe in Entertainment Earth. Entertainment Earth is very good. It's kind of the same as Big Bad Toy Store. I'm not sure about their cancellation policy, but with Big Bad Toy Store, you can pre-order a figure. They're not going to charge you. They will only charge you when they ship it, and they will give you a plethora of notifications. Hey, we just got the figure. We're going to be shipping it out soon. You can cancel anytime. Tokyo Otaku Mode. All right. We're pulling it up, right? Tokyo Otaku Mode is gas purely for one reason. You get cash back. And the cash back, man, you could see I've got $122 in cash back purely because I'll pay for a $60 figure and get $30 back during some promotions, right? You can't cancel, and their shipping time is a little bit longer, like a couple weeks past Big Bad Toy Store typically, but man, the cashback is so good. Otherwise, you just run Amazon. You know, Amazon's gonna have your SH Figuarts, they're gonna have your Ichiban shows. Same with Crunchyroll, they're gonna have anything anime. And if all of your options are expired here, You check Box Lunch, online, in person, Barnes and Nobles, believe it or not, and GameStop, right? Now, for my posable people, or my SH Figure Arts, Bandai stores, you can do Amazon, you can do Big Bad, you can do all of these, pretty much, right? But for some of your SH Figure Arts releases, it's going to be on Premium Bandai, and it's going to run you a pretty penny. Otherwise, for third party, you've got Omnime, you got things like Hobby Genkai, and AliExpress. With AliExpress, you just have to be so careful because you don't want to get a bootleg of a bootleg. It's definitely harder to go this route, but I really do like Omnime. For our resin people, we've got Kyoland and Hexapus ACG. I really like Hexapus ACG. They're super communicative. Their prices rival Kyoland. It's really great overall. Oh no, we're at the end. We're at the end. You've gone through this video, you've paused it, and you're like, dog. When you showed this Broly figure, I had to get it. You're like Apple. I went through the Kuji catalog. You didn't help me at all, but I ended up finding the Broly figure I was looking for. Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus Z Broly. I looked at the sites that you said here. They're sold out, everybody, my guy. Here's what I gotta say. Just don't use eBay, dude. eBay is stupid expensive. And I promise you can find better options looking at Mercari or internationally, right? eBay does this kind of scummy thing. You can see people in Japan list this for dumb expensive, when in reality the market price in Japan, like when people in Japan go on Mercari and they look for figures, they're looking at, oh, I can pay $50 for the pair of these, where he's scalping you, dude. He's gonna charge you $130 for a figure he knows is $30. Mercari. I think it's probably the best place to buy figures in the US, with the main caveat being bootlegs exist. You have to be able to spot bootlegs. Matches Peaches has a great video on how to spot bootlegs and how to buy authentic figures. Just watch that, right? The second caveat is finding deals like this. This guy retails for $70 in the US, right? So this is retail. This is second-hand. This is second-hand aftermarket. Finding deals like this can take a little bit of time, but I mean, with older figures, I highly recommend taking your time, watching the market, asking people in the community, hey, what's a good price for this? And they'll be very honest with you. Last option, objectively the hardest, but the most surefire effective, is hopping on a site like Buy. Look at me just leaking my history like that. It's okay, I have nothing to hide. You go on a site like Buy or Zen Market, and it's a little difficult because you have to use the Japanese terms, but you're gonna find amazing prices for things here. And there's just two things that you have to look out for. One, you're not just paying this and they're gonna ship it to you, right? Like, you're gonna buy this, you're like, oh dude, I've seen this on Amazon, this is like a $40 figure, me paying $23 is a good deal, but you gotta pay shipping and tariffs on it, right? So my thing with buying internationally is the shipping for a couple boxed figures, let's say 3, will run you about $50 average, give or take $20, right? Once you start getting past that, it gets hard to vary, or it gets hard to predict, but expect that shipping will cost you a decent amount. So my advice is buy 3-4 figures, consolidate them on Buy, and bite the bullet for the first one. You're gonna learn But overall, in the long run, you're gonna save a lot of money. But there we got it. We have seen now. We've got a bunch of different figures here, right? These are all Ichiban Kujis. We've got a plethora mix here. We got our dioramas here. That is your guide to shopping figures. Welcome to the community. We're glad to have you, and you're gonna get started pretty shortly. It's gonna be a fun ride. My only advice is now buy a shelf, right? Buy a shelf. Buy some lights and some risers, and you're gonna get some things that are gonna come out looking like this. They'll make you really happy. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for showing up. We've got all our brands, we got all our figures. I will link everything I've talked about. I'll link it all. I'll link the catalog. I'll link the Ichiban Kuji site. I'll leak it all. You think I'm saying link, but no, I'm gonna leak it. I'm leaking all this shit. That's all I got. I love you guys. If you're watching it on Saturday, the 24th, not the 25th, the 24th, I will be streaming. All right. I love you. Bye.